Hello friends, this is Dave. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Layman's Tech Adda. The main idea behind creating this YouTube channel is to explain technical things in simplest layman terms possible. This is my second video on this channel. Please do watch my first video on the topic what is a subnet on the same channel, and please do not forget to subscribe, of course. So friends, our today's topic for the video is computer domain. So what is a domain actually? Forget about computer domain. If we just take a domain actually, what is a domain? So we all know literally in dictionary terms, domain is an area or a territory owned or controlled by a particular ruler or government. But if someone asks you which domain you work in, it means they are asking about the area you work in, your nature of work, your area of expertise, etc. Now, in internet terms, what is a domain? In internet terms, some of the top level domains are like .com, .org, .edu, etc., for which you can register the domain name. Example, if the name of the website uh, uh, or the URL of the website goes like https :// www.technicaldata.com. In that, technical data is the name registered for the website, and technicaldata.com becomes the full domain name of that website. Now, you might be wondering why we need to register our website name. Uh, Domain name is registered to make sure the chosen name is not used by anyone already, or no one uses the same name as ours for their website. Example, the popular website facebook.com, where facebook.com is the full domain name, or it is the website name, and .com is the domain they are registered with using some domain registrar company. Now, I'm not sure which domain registrar company they are tied up with for registering their domain, but I'm just talking about them for your reference. So they must be also having their own data centers to host their files, being a giant company, Facebook. So all the websites worldwide are registered with a domain name registrar. So what is a domain name registrar? So domain name registrar is a company responsible for managing the reservation of internet domains. One of the popular domain name registrar companies is BigRock.in, GoDaddy.com, uh, etc. There are a few more. Please have a Google search on some more if you want. So, apart from domain registrar companies, I would suggest to do some research on a corporation called Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, or IANA. Uh, have a research on why do we require that organization, what it does, what is the responsibility of organization, of that organization, where is it located, etc. You have Google, right, for everything. Why don't you use that after this video? Is there anything Google doesn't know? I don't think so. Somewhere I read on the internet a joke about Google, where the joke goes like there is an announcement from Google saying There are openings in Google, and below the announcement, it's written you don't have to apply, guys. We already have your data. So trust me, guys, Google knows everything about you, isn't it? Come on now, not now, please. I said check Google after the video, not now. Sorry for distracting. Now let's get back to the topic again. So, coming back to the topic, one more important thing to remember is people always confuse their website with the domain name. Domain name and website are not the same, they are two different things. Now, domain name is just the name given to the website. After selecting the domain, we want to register it with like .com, .org, etc. Whereas the contents of the website, what you see in the front, or the GUI you see in front of you in the web page, is the website. And it's not necessary to have a website to register with a domain. You can still have the registration with the domain without a website. Uh, I'll tell you more clearly. Example, if you have a domain registrar company called domainproviders.com, domain name providers.com, let's say, you can register your like photography company or freelance business of photography, let's say like by the name photography tricks with it, and you can have an email ID from them and get some storage space as well on their domain to store your data, which will be also useful if you wish to build your website in future, as all the files of your website will be hosted on that domain registrar come hosting company. So it's like storing your goods in a warehouse for rent, or uh, like living in a rented apartment and moving to another apartment uh, whenever you want with all your belongings. So your website also can be moved and hosted to different hosting company with all your data every year, or you can choose to continue with same company, as almost all the domain registrar companies today provide the hosting services as well, like godaddy.com, etc. Now come on, everybody cannot have their own data centers to host their website like facebook.com. That's why we have hosting companies where, let's say, if you just have a one page static website for your business, or a website for your small business, there is no point in having a complete data center for yourself, like giants like Facebook, Amazon, etc. So that is the reason we have small hosting companies where we can register our websites, and we can store our files on rent. So if you are registered but not have built a website yet, uh, like I said in the beginning, you can still have a storage space. Like I said above, from the company you are registered with, and have an email ID as well from them. So remember, you registered with domainproviders.com. So your email ID will be something like your email ID at the rate domainproviders.com. But in order to make your website available on the World Wide Web, you need to build your website first and host it on the domain name registrar you have registered with, or any other hosting company you like. So it's not necessary that uh, you have to host it with the same company, same domain name registrar company you are registered with. You can, after registering, you can host it on a uh, different hosting company you like. So since now once after registering the domain, uh, if you want to have a website as well, then you can, and if you have named it something like https photographytricks.com, hosted on the domain registrar company you are registered with, all the data, pictures displayed on your website, your design, etc., everything will be hosted on that domain registrar services company or hosting services company, along with the maintenance of your website. So BigRock, GoDaddy, all these also provide domain name registration as well as hosting. So now, coming to the main part of the video, what is a computer domain? In computer network terminology. So in computer networks terminology, domain or computer domain is nothing but grouping of multiple computers together for creating a secure boundary for centralized management of network devices like printers, desktops, laptops, servers, routers, switches, printers, etc. through a domain controller. A simple example of centralized management can be user authentications. Uh, if there are a couple of systems in one of the domains of the company, only the users belong to that domain can be granted to use the network devices or login in the systems of that domain. Users from other domain or project can be restricted from those set of network devices or systems. Like you can see on the screen, you have three domains, three domain controllers as well. So domain one cannot use the systems. I mean, the domain one users cannot use the systems of domain 2 or domain 3, and same way domain 2 cannot use domain 1s or domain 3s, or same way domain 3 users cannot use the resources or systems of domain 1, domain 2, etc. So some of the advantages of having a computer domain, why is it important? The first is user privilege management, of course, and patch management throughout the domain centrally at a time on all the computers of a particular domain, and Active Directory feature uh, of a domain can also handle millions of AD objects in a single domain. One more advantage is like automatic installation of network printers or network devices when joined to the domain. There are a few more advantages. These are some of the key advantages. So a couple of computers can be on the same network range, but can still have some computers on different domain. Let me be more clear. Like in our ODC, if there are 200 systems, out of which 100 belong to your project called Talent Hunt Technologies, and other project called Equity Market Group, and the first 100 computers might be on talenthunt.com domain, and other 100 set of computers can be on equitymarket.com domain. So the two domains are created only uh, for the specific user access of respective projects. So the first set might be on a different subnet, and second on different. You can have multiple domains on the same physical network as per the feasibility and company's requirement. Now, as mentioned in the beginning, please check out my video on subnet in the same channel to have a better understanding about on what is a subnet. So, friends, you can also have a child domain under the main domain. You can also have a tree forest in a domain if there is a requirement. If you have a large business organization, you can have these things like child domain, tree, forest, etc. Now, if you want more simple explanation of a domain, take the example of your company where it might be having multiple projects with it. Think various projects as various domains, just for the sake of example. And let's say the project you work in may be having a headcount of 200 employees, and you can assume your, like you can see on the screen, like you can assume your project PL as the domain controller or the rule implementer, and your company management and clients as the administrators or the rule makers, and your project as a domain. So just like whatever policies and rules are set by the management based on the same set of rules and policies, the project PL wants to manage the team with, or want to rub the same policies onto all the employees that of that project. Same way, whatever the administrator from the IT team sets the policies on the domain controller, the same is replicated throughout the systems of that domain. Example, if the screensaver changing rule is enabled on a domain controller, uh, screensaver changing rule, like for example, if the screensaver changing is restricted, no users in that domain can do so in that domain on their systems. So if you see a local IT guy today in your ODC, just say thank you for managing everything. I mean, you don't have to explain anything, just say thank you. Now I understand things related to IT take time as they are overburdened most of the times. But we cannot imagine a business day with complete local IT team being absent at the same day, same time, right? So that's all, folks, for today about the computer domain. Uh, and as promised at the beginning of the video, uh, I have kept the content of the video very simple and very basic. for layman understanding, but I would also recommend please also have a research on things like what is a domain controller, uh, Active Directory, child domain, tree, forest, which are part of a domain in large organizations. So I would suggest do some research on them for a better understanding since you got your basic idea of computer domain through this video. And if you want if you want to give any suggestions for the future videos, I would love to hear them. And if you like the content of the video, please hit like, hit the bell icon, and of course, subscribe and share. Thank you, friends, for visiting my channel. This is Dave, signing off until my next video. Goodbye for now. Do not forget to visit my channel again. See you again. Hasta la vista, friends. Bye bye.